Hello, everyone. I am so glad to finally welcome you all back to part 2 of my kinetic blast of clustering occultist journey. For starters, this is going to be the craziest video yet. But first, let's circle back and pick up where we left off last time, because it was so long ago at this point. After finishing part 1, I immediately hopped back on and bought a cheap bleed immunity jewel. And this ring to fix my resistances, plus give some extra energy shield. And of course, item rarity. You'll see in this video, but I actually feel like the amount of item rarity did feel like it was actually doing something. Crazy, right? Anyways, we continued on through mapping, starting off investing into some boxes in hopes to get some starting currency. Oh, and of course we dropped everyone's favorite item. And you know what? Some people were not happy with my choice to gamble this key away last time. So there you go. Are you happy? Kind of boring content, isn't it? Though I suppose not as boring as dropping a 1 Chaos Unique. Perhaps I am just coping for my gambling addiction in this damn game. Sometimes it pays off though, I promise. Holy shit, this Vendors is actually really good. By far the best one I have ever ID'd. Pretty expensive too, but this one will be sticking around with me for a while. And to be fully transparent, I will use this ring the rest of the league. All 2 days of it. Brave statement, I know. But hey, at least I got the video out before league start, right? Anyways, I came back to the toxic sewer for a bit and used my box strat there instead. Now that I am finally able to run those 8 mods I bought in part 1 without imploding every 2 seconds. And finally, our first big upgrade of the video. A new chest, an incredibly strong defensive upgrade compared to the trash I bought last video. Thanks Hawktua for the armor. While my AI voice says Hawktua correctly, we are so cooked. Ignoring that slightly upsetting discovery, we pick up an Enlighten so we can squeeze another aura into the build. And we pick up the rare amulet that was actually really good for the build. No dead mods. Very happy with that purchase. And we hop right back into the maps, drop some more raw currency, mixing and spamming some breaches at times to spam XP. It actually just free levels with this build. But oh my god, is it boring. So I shamelessly had to get back into the sewers like the rat I am. Each time I hear a tink in this game, it smooths my brain a little bit more. But I cannot stop. And will you look at that?
Nice.
7 years bad luck. Yeah, what he said. We are so paid. Immediately, those got flipped into a headhunter. Well, not immediately, because I always forget how to split stacks in this game. And then I start to panic and give the person 1 divine. But luckily, I was able to figure it out before they decided they could not be bothered trading with me anymore. So I catalysted up and boom. We got a nice GG belt for the rest of the league. No more of this 2 Chaos Unique trash. Get this away from me. I also bought a cluster jewel with some leftover chaos. Make a quick pit stop to get a divine from a random ritual because I knew I would. Then go and pick up some strand maps for me next strategy. And if you didn't immediately know what that strategy is, that's okay. It's delirium. That's it. I actually decided to do delirium off of a single observation. I happened upon some delirium orbs in passing and noticed their prices were actually pretty good. Or at least I had felt that way enough to start farming it. And to be honest, it is a nice change of pace from boxes. You just run straight down the strand map, explode everything you see, and then collect some relatively consistent loot and currency at the end. Or well, at the beginning of the map if you die towards the end like me because you were watching something else on another monitor. I bet you actually thought I was going to show a clip in which I died right there. Not this time. And well, to be honest, these maps can get quite tough towards the end, especially if you move too fast. What the hell? Or I guess your game can just stop rendering things, and when it does again, you're dead. Skill issue, I guess. Time to swipe for a new GPU. Next thing I picked up were a pair of Hrimsoro gloves with curse enemies with elemental weakness on hit. Cold Convert worked quite well here, a boost to DPS, and overall made the clear feel a little bit better as well. But there are still a lot of holes in this build, and a lot more tinks to drop. So let's keep going. I wanted to leave this clip in to highlight one major drawback about this build. Its single target damage sucks ass. I mean seriously. Grimewalker here almost just put me down, and I have 10 Headhunter buffs. So just something to be wary of if anyone tries anything similar to this build. It is definitely just for clearing maps. I also want to call out a skill setup I used here. Along with Vortex, I put Frost Wall with cast when damage taken support. I had never really considered this as a kind of layer of defense, but it actually helps quite a bit. When you are hit by an enemy, it actually casts Frost Wall between the two of you, meaning any melee attackers can immediately hit you again. Here, let me play the clip with Mr. Grimewalker again, so you can see what I mean. Okay, maybe it was a little hyperbolic to say that he almost killed me, but as you can see, it almost acts as a form of crowd control. This mob wasn't even melee, and it stopped attacking at times to try and figure out how to path around to get to me. This was honestly something really cool I discovered while just messing around with cast when damage taken, but I think I will keep in mind in the future going forward. It especially helped before I got stun immunity, as it helped prevent me from getting stun locked by 2 rare monsters. Anyways, I was talking for so long we skipped over buying Grace of the Goddess. This is a new unique wand that add an extra Sacred Wisp, while also adding a bunch of physical as extra damage. A really cool wand overall, and I'm excited to use it. Of course, I bought the cheapest one on the market and hit it with a Divine to make it better. Okay, 2 more Divines. Perfect, enough. Actually, after pricing it. A pretty solid move. Always lucky. Never wrong. The build's starting to come together little by little, and we are finally hitting that turning point in a build where I feel like we are making some pretty decent profit. Our next big purchase is an Immutable Force. This is to help with that stun issue I mentioned earlier, as I had one too many deaths caused by getting permastun that I could not handle it anymore. Oh yeah, and another bonus of this strategy and running strand maps is we drop fortress maps which get us paid very well. And with our new wand, things are looking pretty good too. And by looking pretty good, I mean we sometimes don't even see enemies on our screen, which is always a pretty good sign in a build like this. And here is where I make my biggest mistake of not even this league, but in ever playing this game. I decided to try to fight this pirate dickhead because I wanted to save my crew. And honestly, I wanted to show you all this entire fight, sped up 6x. But it wasn't fast enough still, and going any faster hurt my eyes, and I don't want to hurt anyone else's. So trust me, this fight was 15 minutes of me literally just walking around in a circle. He couldn't kill me, and the only reason I could kill him is because he does not regenerate health in any way. Otherwise, I literally would have had to Alt-F for the game. And of course, after all that time, this dude could not even drop me a power rune. Needless to say, I paid the ransom every other time that happened on this character. Anyways, we make a little bit more currency, and then we start making some more big upgrades to the build. Starting with these lightning convert gloves. The attack speed and dexterity here are big lifts for me as well. And we re-roll the X-Arc implicit to unnerve enemies on it. A nice little extra damage boost, and these gloves are looking like a really good piece for the build. But now we need to get our curse on hit from somewhere else. So I went ahead with a synthesized ring with curse conductivity on hit. This will pair well with our new gloves, and I can safely roll this ring into something more suitable for my needs. Yeah, that will do for now, I think. All res, mana, and max ES. I definitely cannot complain. But I'm not done there. With that ring swap, I needed a bit more elemental resistance, so I bought some new boots to address this. And now for a big swap in the build. We swap to enabling 2 curses and buffing our energy shield with some new ascendancy allocations. Another big quality of life change here is now I cannot be stunned if I have ES, meaning we can get rid of that immutable force, opening up a jewel slot. With this change, we have swapped over to the final gem setup for the build, which you can find fully in the POB I link below. But now that I can support 2 curses, we bring a mark on hit sniper's mark setup to the build as well. And now the build is getting really fun. Okay, wow. This time I didn't die. Instead, my game just crashed. I don't know if this is just because my computer is bad, maybe my MTX is not helping, or maybe I crashed their server instance. Either way, that is pretty funny. I swapped over to Min Frenzy Charge Anointment, plugged Wave of Conviction into the cast when damage taken setup, and made 3 divines off this fella. While I'm at it, let's make some more sales and amass some more currency. Nice. Now let's spend it all on a Watcher's Eye. Damn, just like that I am back to my old ways. Jungle. Valley. Is there something wrong with me? Maybe. But damn, this map and strategy has been good to me all league. I don't know why I left. It actually just prints divines and Valdo's boxes.
Oh god, it's so good.
Oh my god. Hold on everyone. I gotta send a screenshot to the boys. Okay, so we just dropped 400 divines from a strong box. Let's just run one more map for good measure. Just because I am greedy and maybe I can squeeze out a little more luck before going shopping. Anyways, let's liquidate these. Faustus really made me spend 100k gold for this trade. What a clown. And wow, look at this currency tab. Who would have thought this is a 0 to hero character? So yeah, the first purchase is pretty obvious. I never thought I would get rid of the Headhunter, but I cannot pass up an opportunity to run a Mage Blood. Next purchase, Storm Shroud, so we can get ailment immunity without using Purity of Elements. Then I bought some Mage Blood flasks that I was too lazy to craft myself. Sell my Immutable Force for a 2 divine loss, because who cares? And finally, I bought a Dying Sun for better area damage and extra explosions. Next thing I bought I forgot to record, so I apologize. But it's a Megalomaniac to help me scale more mana and energy shield. I think it was 2 divines. Then an Impossible Escape targeting the Acrobatics location. This saves me about 5 skill points. Next, a Max Power Charge Crown of the Inward Eye. A bunch of Vol Orbs to re-roll its sockets. And next, the controversial part. I bought some really good items instead of crafting them with the Recombinator. A wand and a body armor. The reason I did this is because, to be honest, there are only like 3 days left in the league, and I'd rather be sure I get the video out for you all than craft a mirror wand. It would be much different if it was earlier in the league. But yeah, these items are really cracked. And it is actually so ridiculous to have this level of gear on a 0 to hero character. I had just got to level 94. Just as a little showcase, before I break down the items further, here is how the build handles T17S with all the changes. It feels so awesome. I am so happy we got to see the build at this level. As for the items, the wand will be dual-wielded with Grace of the Goddess. It is a Tormented Spritus wand with attack speed, crit chance, and a bunch of other great mods for the build. For 60 divines, I will take it. The armor is even better and costed 80 divines. It gives me an absurd amount of defense, spell suppression, and not to mention a straight 10% phys damage reduction because of the physical damage taken as chaos damage. The build overall feels incredible, and this is such a great way to end the league. Here is another look at my final items at this point. I will be sure to provide an up-to-date POB and even add some notes about the build there as well. Like always, I am so incredibly thankful for each and every one of you. Thank you. Llama, out.